You know, it's not often that I watch something and I'm completely smitten and inspired by it, but recently I just watched Bo Burnham's special, Inside, and it really just struck me in such a visceral way. It's a creative comedic masterpiece. I highly recommend you watching it. I think it's because Bo is one of those OG YouTubers that really outgrew the platform in such a cool way, and now he's like a writer, director, producer, composer, actor, whatever you want to, all those things and more. And you know, that special really inspired me to become a better content creator. And so I wanted to put this together to hopefully inspire you to become a better content creator too, or to become a creator at all. So today's video is going to be a masterclass of sorts, even though I don't consider myself a master on the YouTube space, an amateur semi-pro. It's a semi-pro amateur class for me that talks about my tips, tricks, strategy, engagement tactics, financial strategies for monetizing your channel, and everything in between. It's a peek behind my YouTube channel, and everything that's in here is going to be in this video. I know it's going to be one of my longer videos, but I really do think you're going to get something out of it if you want to start a channel. And even if you don't, I think you may consider it after the video. Just 1 year ago, I was at 1,000 subscribers, and now I'm at 97,000 subscribers. And so much has changed for me in the last year, and I just want to share what I've learned. So because this is all inspired and coming together because of that Bo Burnham special, I'm going to have several nods to that throughout this video. So strap in and let's talk about starting a YouTube channel. And if you wouldn't mind doing me just the tiniest little favor, hit that like button down below. Let's start off with getting started. Now this might seem a little basic for some of you, especially if you already have a channel. So if you do, go ahead and skip ahead. We'll get into some of the nitty-gritty stuff a little bit later into the video, especially some of the financials involved with the channel. But for now, I want to start with the basics. I think a lot of people get in their heads with this type of thing and they say, all right, so I'm going to start a channel, but what am I going to talk about? What do people want to hear me talk about? Who would ever want to hear me open my mouth and hear words coming out of my mouth? And you know, you get so in your head that you think you have to be this super professional or super expert or super funny comedic person on camera, and that's not necessarily the case. So here's the good news. You don't have to actually land on a concept whenever you start your channel. All right, so we'll put a pin on that first. When you're really trying to think about what your niche is going to be, your niche, Caleb? Can you even relay that in a sticker? Yeah, you'll figure it out. Think about it this way. What's a topic that you know a lot about that you tend to annoy your friend group or your family group or your coworkers or your peers, just anyone in your network? What do you talk about that annoys people? And what I mean by this is when I was getting into tiny houses and Airbnb, that is all I talked about. Like literally, that is the only thing I ever talked about. And all of my friends and network and just everyone that I was around would always be like, my God, bro, we get it. You Airbnb. And I was like, oh, I wish I could talk about this kind of thing with people more, and I wish they cared. Well, you know, turns out on YouTube, a lot of you care about what I have to say in the Airbnb or tiny house space. And that's kind of what I'm going to push you towards. So if there's something that you know quite a bit about, maybe it's video games, maybe it's fixing up cars, maybe it's a DIY type of thing, maybe it's training your dogs, how to do underwater basket weaving, card tricks, knife sharpening, a knife smelling channel where all you do is smell, I don't know, camera gear, editing, whatever that one thing in your life is that you're relatively proficient at and that no one really gives a shit when you talk about, that's what your channel should be about. Now, I will also say, if you have a few of those things, if there are a couple things that you're relatively proficient at, do it all. You don't have to commit to the first niche you pick. You know, I always say do the shotgun approach. If you're good at a bunch of stuff, put a bunch of stuff out there on YouTube, and whatever sticks, lean into it. Did you know that I started off as a DIY channel? When I got into YouTube, there were two channels that pretty much were the reason that I started mine. There was Homemade Modern, there was Modern Builds. Those two guys were really great at DIY, and so I wanted to be the next DIY sensation. I wanted to be the quirky, funny, weird take on do-it-yourself.
Do you like to do it yourself?
You know, I did that, but I didn't have a bunch of projects that I could do every single week, so I just started doing other random vlogs and videos, and most of them were horrible. But the third video that I ever posted was a tiny house vlog, which I always say was framed horribly, nips up, and no microphone, and it was just me talking in front of my tiny house. And 4 months later, for some odd reason, the YouTube gods took that video and ascended it into heaven, and I found out that people really wanted to hear me talk about tiny houses and unique spaces and Airbnb and real estate and making money. So I completely stopped doing DIY and I leaned into the tiny house world. And here I am, about a year and a half later, and I have about 97,000 subscribers, so close to 100. But all to say, find something that you're good at or do a bunch of things that you're good at. Doesn't really matter. No one really cares. Your first set of videos are gonna be terrible. Get them out the way, and as soon as you test a bunch of different kind of videos, you can really start leaning into what you want your niche to be. Next tip here, don't worry about gear. They say that the best camera that exists on the market today is the one that you have on you, which for most people is an iPhone or an Android if you're a freaking weird green bubble fetish person. You know, you don't need a nice fancy camera, okay? My first set of videos were all shot on an iPhone. No microphone, no fancy lights, just me and my iPhone. And the first video of mine that ever took off and went semi-viral, if you will, was shot on an iPhone. And it just goes to show you that it's not about the gear that you use, but it's the quality of content. People cared that I built a tiny house. They didn't care what camera I was using. So don't let gear stop you, but allow it to help scale up your business and your production value and your quality as your channel grows. So start with the phone, and when you're ready and you're truly committed, get a Canon M50. And you know what? I am gonna give this away. Just thought of that. I'm never gonna use this camera. So leave a comment down below about what your channel is gonna be about. Whoever has the coolest channel idea wins my Canon M50. There we go. But all to say, that's a $500 camera. After you've done that for a while and after you've settled into it and after you're making money on YouTube, then maybe you can upgrade your camera to something like this, the Sony A7C. This is a $1,700, $1,800 camera. I used it for about a month, and then I graduated, aka made the stupid financial decision to buy a nicer, fancier camera, which is a Sony FX3. Unnecessary and a poor financial decision, because you probably would never have been able to tell that it's any different than this camera, but I'm a full-time YouTuber now. I'm making decent income, and I really wanted to invest in the production quality of my videos. This will probably be the very last camera that I buy for a very long while. But before you go and spend money on cameras, there's one thing that I want you to spend money on, and it's a decent microphone. I have a philosophy that I think people will put up with bad visuals, but they won't put up with bad audio. So you can buy something like the Purple Panda. It's a lav mic. I think it's like $20, and it sounds really, really great. So start off with that as your very first YouTube investment. And by the way, all of my main gear that I use in all of my videos is always linked at the very bottom of my description so that you know what I'm currently shooting on or using if you ever get curious. But what will people think of me, Rob? What will my family think? What will my friend think? No one cares. No one cares that you started a YouTube channel. More than likely, your friends, your family, they're probably not gonna watch for a while. Yeah, in fact, I didn't even tell anybody. I was so in my head about this thing. I didn't want anyone to know. It wasn't until I posted one of my videos on Reddit and that video got to the front page and got like 3,400 upvotes that I was like, oh, hey, maybe I'm onto something. And at that point, I decided to announce on my Instagram and on my Facebook page and everything like that I started a YouTube channel. And guess what? Everyone was super supportive and super nice and had a lot of nice things to say. And yeah, I'm glad that I did. Best decision I ever made. I hid it from people because I was scared of what they would think, when honestly they were really supportive. But either way, if that's something that you're scared about, if you're in your head about, don't tell anybody. Get your first 20 horrible videos out of the way and then announce to the world that you started a YouTube channel. Big proponent of editing your own videos when you get started. I now have a full-time editor. Thank you, Caleb. He edits full-time for the channel. That's an investment that I decided to make. I make a decent amount of money on YouTube, and guess what? It all goes to him because I'm investing in this business. But I started out editing my own stuff and establishing what my style was and establishing my quirky jokes and my edits and what I thought was funny. And that was a really great foundation and baseline for Caleb whenever he first started editing for me, because he was like, okay, I get what Rob's trying to do. I get his humor. I'm a better editor than him. I'm gonna make this so much better. And guess what? He did. And that made my channel grow exponentially to have great editing, I think. A lot of you seem to respond very nicely to that. But it all came from me editing on my own first and then passing it off to a pro to make it significantly better. And last thing, I think you should become a student of YouTube. When I first started my channel, I literally stopped watching movies and TV for like the first year of my channel. Not hyperbole, like I love movies so much. And granted, I didn't go to the movies as much because we were in a global pandemic, but I wasn't watching them at home because literally all I did was watch YouTube. And so if you're getting started in YouTube, there are two channels that I definitely recommend. Catherine Manning's channel really kind of taught me the analytics and the back end and the philosophies of YouTube. And then Think Media. Those two channels will tell you everything you need to know about starting a YouTube channel. On top of that, there's a smaller channel that I've been watching lately, and I still watch this stuff because I'm still wanting to learn, called Channel Makers. Really great, quirky channel that teaches you YouTube. It's great. Then from there, emulate the greats. Take people that you really, really like and don't steal their style, but use it to inspire your own. I mean, there's so many different YouTubers out there that I watch. Well, let's see who I subscribe to actually. Cody Co, great commentary. D'Angelo Wallace, Jack Gordon just found that channel. One of my favorite channels about YouTube and social media in general. The Future, there's Shelby and Monica Church, Graham Stephan, Peter McKinnon, Nathan Zed, Casey Neistat, obviously. Start there, I guess. That's probably like foundation YouTube if you're wanting to become a vlogger. But all to say, I take a lot of inspiration from these channels and a lot more, and I use that to influence my editing and my humor. Oh, Bon Appetit, Brad, It's Alive. That's probably what inspired my YouTube editing more than anything else from a comedic standpoint. So ultimately, I take the greats and I emulate them in the Robuilt style. And then last tip here, I learned this very late in the game. Outline your scripts. If you just try to go with the flow and just like go off the top of your head, your editor / you will be very frustrated trying to edit your jarbled, rambling, non-coherent nonsense, and we will all have felt much dumber for having listened to it.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but
Outline your scripts, don't script them out too much. People can always tell whenever you're reading off of a paper. Give yourself a couple bullet points and then just riff on it. Like this, riffing. I am riffing on this YouTube channel right now. I have this whole script here and I'm just going off the top of my old dome here because that's what I like to do. Give me a word, give me a one-word suggestion. Apple? Sir, this apple right here, that's not for sale. What do you mean this apple's not for sale? You're an apple stand. Hey, what's going on YouTube? Rob here. I thought it'd be pretty fun if I put together a little reaction video of me reacting to the riffing scene that you just saw take place. So without further ado, let's get into it. Riff on it like this. Riffing. So riffing is basically another way to improvise, or it's ad-libbing off the top of your head, if you will. It's a skill that I acquired at UCB several years ago. Apple. Yeah, I knew I was going to go Apple here. For whatever reason, Apple's kind of like my go-to word for whatever reason if I can't think of anything off the top of my... Well, that's weird. That's the intro that I just recorded, but how does that work? How does that work if we never actually stop recording to edit this together? Oh, I'm supposed to react to myself reacting. Okay, so here I'm reacting to myself as I break down what a riff is. I talk about UCB, how I went there to acquire this skill, and now I'm gonna get into the whole Apple talk. Got it. Okay, so with the Apple talk, I use it as a crutch. And you can clearly see here, the confusion starts to set in, and I get it. As someone who's been through this several times at this point, it is a very confusing thing to understand exactly what's happening. In fact, I'm still very confused, but having done this a few times, you know, the synapses are firing. I'm starting to fill in those puzzle pieces, but on screen, I see a lost boy. I see that now, and that's something that I was scared to admit to myself at the time of reacting to myself reacting. But you know, honestly, I still don't really understand exactly how this is happening because we've been doing like an entire take and we never actually stopped to edit this together. So it's honestly, it's very odd to me, and I'm gonna stop doing this because it's very weird. So yeah, that's today's reaction video. Thanks for stopping by. Let's get philosophical. I want to talk about sort of like my philosophies on YouTube, things that you should do, best practices, sort of that type of thing, yeah. So as I mentioned, I do have an outline. I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of, so I'm just gonna look right here. Oh, right, yes. Don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the money. Don't do YouTube for the money. And I know me, as someone here that talks about money and talks about how much money I make, and I do make money now, finally, the first time in my life, I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to not be broke anymore. Like, that's nice. I did work for it. And so I will say that I understand that it's easy for me to say don't do it for the money when I make money. All right. But with that said, I never got into this thinking I would make money. Okay. My dream was to get free power tools because I started off as a DIY channel, or to make enough ad revenue to buy a Chipotle burrito every single month, and then one day maybe a Chipotle burrito every single week. So those were my goals going into this, and I firmly believe that if that's as far as I ever got in YouTube, I would still be happy doing YouTube right now for that amount because it's just so fun. Like, I love YouTube. I've been passionate about it ever since I started the channel. I think if you go into it thinking that you're gonna make a lot of money, or if you're doing it for the purposes of making money, then you're gonna quit your channel a lot sooner than you think you are, because it's gonna be a while before you make a decent income from YouTube, unless you're an overnight success. No, I'm just kidding. Unless the YouTube gods choose one of your videos to go viral and then randomly you become successful overnight and still have trouble grappling with the fact that your life changed in the matter of 18 months. And you're still just trying to figure out who you are and what you want to be and what you want your channel to be about and what you want your career to be and how much time you want to spend with your family. Yeah, I digress. All to say, don't do it for the money, okay? Do it because you like it. Do it because you like making videos. Do it because you like making weird, quirky videos or informational videos or educational and entertaining video, whatever it is, do it because you like it. The moment that you let money dictate the direction of your channel and the continuation of your channel, it's just, you will never stop thinking about it. Just consider money the cherry on top of this really cool thing that you get to do and share with the world. But stick around until the very end and I'll talk about the money side of YouTube and how you can make some. Sound good? Laugh at the idiots. Embrace the bad comments, okay? Recognize that when you start a YouTube channel, people are going to say the meanest things to you. Like, they're gonna say the nicest things to you, but after that, other people are gonna say like the meanest things to you. And I'm talking like they will spend an hour writing things to you. Luckily, I was in advertising. I was in a career path where people told me that I sucked and my idea sucked and that I wasn't, that my ideas weren't good. And so I had a little bit of thick skin going into YouTube. So I was kind of fortunate in that regard. But I think that you should embrace the haters. I think that you should love the haters. I think you should be grateful for the haters. And here's why. They're idiots. What YouTube likes is some level of controversy first. Secondly, they like people being on the site, right? They want people to stay on YouTube and not go off to Reddit or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever other social media platforms there are these days. So I say this because if someone spends a very long time writing you a comment after they've watched your video, well, guess what? Not only have they watched your video, they've actually spent much longer on your page writing a comment, and YouTube sees engagement, and all engagement is great engagement. All press is good press, to put it simply. So if someone is spending an hour to have an argument with people in your comment section or to leave you a mean comment, it actually works in your favor from the YouTube algorithm standpoint. Philosophy, wear the same shirt, the same set of shirts. If you notice in all of my videos, I wear pretty much the same shirt because when I record on a different day, you never know. Is this the same day from the very beginning of this video? Is it a week later? Is it the next year? You'll never know, but I'll give you a hint. This video has been filmed over the course of 18 years. Took a lot of planning. Okay, commitment-wise, give it a year. If you want to start a YouTube channel, you have to give it a year minimum. I would like to say a 2-year commitment to really know if this is what you want to do or not. I mean, granted, I think you'll know if you hate YouTube right off the bat. Like if you make a couple videos and you're like, oh, okay, this blows, editing sucks. I'm up until 2 or 3 in the morning every night. No one's watching it. I don't get fulfillment out of this. Great. Quit your channel. You don't have to commit to a year at that point. If you know that YouTube is not something you want to do, toss it to the wayside. All right, sunk cost theory. I'm pretty sure that applies in this scenario. But if you're like, I do want to be a YouTuber and this is something that I'm serious about and I want to be a famous YouTuber, well, give it a year at least. Say that no matter what, rain or shine, you are going to commit to posting consistently every single week on YouTube. Mr. Beast did not take off immediately. I think he was on YouTube for like 3 years before he ever went viral. If he had quit in his first year, we wouldn't have Mr. Beast. He's like one of the biggest YouTubers of all time, right? So that's why I say give it longer than a year if you're serious about it, because you just don't know when or if you're gonna take off. And so I think your best shot is just to upload content and do the thing and commit to it. And as I said, do it because you like it. And if you do your best to create quality content, I firmly believe that people will come and find you. Speaking of posting consistently and giving it a year, I think you should post every single week. Rain or shine, make that commitment to yourself. No matter what happens, you are posting every single week. If Friday is your day, then every single Friday you are posting, no matter if your car went over a cliff, no matter if you broke your leg. It would make great content. Obviously, there are extenuating circumstances that might stop you from doing it. But for me, like, I post every single week. I wasn't able to post like a month or 2 ago just because of things happening. And I was really bummed about it. And it really hurt because I really broke that commitment to myself. And so, no matter what, rain or shine, I'm going to try to post a video. If I ever miss a video, if I ever don't post on a Friday, which is my current posting day, I may change that to Thursday. I'm not sure yet. But if I ever don't post on a Friday, I've been kidnapped. Send help. Please send help because I am committed to getting a video out every single Friday. I think YouTube rewards consistency, and I think that YouTube is a numbers game and you just have to keep posting. The more you post, the more chances you have of, having success. With that, I don't really recommend posting more than a week unless you're 100% sure that you can commit to putting out quality content more than once a week. So I would say when you're starting out once a week, I see a lot of people that try to do like 5 or 6 videos. I don't even know how they do that. It's like crazy talk to me. One time a week for a year. If you do this, I think a year from now, you'll be able to look back and say, I really learned something. And also, Rob was right. I'm glad that I posted consistently and I made this a big part of my life. And I'm gonna thank him by going back to that one video where he told me to post consistently and hit the like button because I remember now that I never actually did that. Carl! Here's another one, small one, but you know, there are a lot of people that are gonna be commenting throughout your YouTube journey that take the time to comment on all of your videos and watch all of your videos. Like, remember who they are. Like, try to give them a shout out every so often. There are a few people that I consistently see on my channel like all the time. Jill M, appreciate you gal. Chicago Sinful Swede, appreciate you. Siempre rie. I see y'all's comments and I really appreciate when y'all do that. And there's so many more of y'all that comment every single time, and I wish I could name them all, but those are the three that like come to mind at this moment. But remember the people that brought you up. Oh, speaking of shout out, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed that it's gotten to this point. Jalen Brown, one of my very first patrons on Patreon. I thought you donated $7.50 to me one time. It's for my Chipotle burrito fund, but I just looked and you've donated $37 to me over the course of like 6 months. I'm so sorry for not thanking you on the channel sooner, and thanks for being my first patron. The struggles are real on YouTube, and I want to talk about a few of them because, I think that there's a lot that you're going to encounter throughout your journey on YouTube. And if you grow, and if you become successful, and you kind of grow to my size, then there are a lot of new things that you don't really expect to come up. First of all, I would say that you're gonna have some pretty huge lows, not mentally, but in terms of the algorithm. Like sometimes, man, when I hit that algorithm, I am just like on cloud 9 and I'm getting like 30,000 views to 40,000 views every 48 hours, which I know is like a specific metric, but that's how YouTube does it. But when that algorithm run is over and I calibrate, my lows are like pretty low. I'm like, I'll get like 12 to 20,000 views every 48 hours. I'm kind of currently on like an algorithm slog right now. It's just part of the game. When you hit your lows, you tend to think that you kind of suck, that you blow, that your channel is over, that you have no talent and no one wants to ever see your face on the screen again, pal. And you get in your head about it, and you just have to remember that YouTube is a machine that you have to feed. I'm feeding it right now with this super long video. I have no idea how long this video is, but it's probably not my typical 10 to 15 minute video. Hopefully this is useful for you. Yeah, you just have to understand that the YouTube algorithm and your channel analytics are sort of like the stock market. Sometimes they're crazy high for no reason. Sometimes they're crazy low for no reason. That's just the way it is. And on that note, the videos that you work the hardest on and that you love the most never perform well. And the videos that have brand sponsors also never perform well, but this just is how it is. And the videos that you hate the most and the videos that you almost don't post and the videos that you don't love, for some reason, always end up having the most success. Like for me, I have a video called How I Self-Managed 10 Airbnb Properties Without Living in the Same State. I didn't really like that video, and I was like, who the heck is gonna care about that? And that's one of my more successful videos. I also had another video that was called How Much Money My Tiny Houses Make. I remember when we finished that edit, I was like, kind of sucks. And that video did kind of go semi-viral, and I've gotten from that video, wow, that was so long ago. Yeah, so this video has gotten 521,000 views. It's been viewed for 48,000 hours. So just to put that in perspective for you, 48,000 divided by 24, 2,000 days divided by 365. That video has been viewed for 5.47 years. If you were to loop that video on a TV for about 5.5 years, that's how much this video has been viewed. It's gotten me 16,000 subscribers. If you subscribe to my channel because of that video, let me know in the comments down below. And it's made me $7,881.17. I thought this video was gonna tank. I didn't like it. I almost didn't post it because I was like, YouTube just chooses what's right for the culture and for the trends and everything at that moment. So don't get bummed whenever your favorite videos don't make it. It's okay. Happens to the best of us and the worst of us. This video, tanking as we speak. You'll also need to learn to say no. You know, I think like this is a tough one because I tend to spread myself super thin and I say yes to everything because I'm like, I have such FOMO, like the biggest FOMO ever. I never want to miss out on anything. So if I get like an opportunity, I just take it. When I get the opportunity to connect with a cool person or connect with a cool YouTuber or connect with like an investor or whatever it is, like I always just take the meeting. I have such a hard time saying no. So you have to learn to say no. If you don't, like if you have any amount of success on YouTube and you say yes to everything, you'll burn yourself out pretty quick. And I have gotten to that point where I was just like so overwhelmed and just had a lot going on where I was like, this is not fun anymore. And it's just because, you know, the things that were supposed to be special weren't special anymore because I was doing everything. And so, you know, I couldn't even appreciate all the cool opportunities that were being presented to me. So say no and be proud to say no. TBH, it's just something that I'm learning every day. Okay, still figuring that out. Not perfect at it, but the more of your time you give away, the less of your time you have to enjoy with your family and your kids, and the less time that you have to work at your goals and you know, create your Airbnb and tiny house empires. If you haven't noticed, this whole video is like a self-reflection, just like on my personal journey, but I think it applies to you, right? Don't apologize for not getting back to everybody. I mean, I think this is one that I just felt so bad for like so long. And I honestly, I do still feel bad about this, but like, you know, I try to give so much of what I have in here to YouTube. Like I give everything, like all the knowledge, all the experiences I share. And like people email me a dozen times a day. I get very long emails. I get a lot of comments. I get DMs, like very nice, heartfelt things. I also get like mean comments or whatever, but like it's so hard to get back to every single person. And it's like, I want to, I really do. And if you ever grow to any point, you know, on YouTube, you're going to be facing this too. And you can't feel bad about not being able to make everybody happy. I think all you can do is give everything you have to your channel, provide value in your channel, and if you can get back to someone, that's great. But, you know, if you can't, that's also great, you know? Ultimately, I think I would rather go pick up my daughter and run around the couch and chase her and make her laugh than sit down at my computer for an hour responding to emails and comments. So you can't get back to everyone, just accept that early on, and I think you're gonna have a much happier and less stressed out life. And also, it's pretty easy to be bottlenecked creatively on your channel once you sort of find success in your niche. Like my channel is about tiny houses and Airbnb and making money and my finances and all that kind of stuff. And like, that's what I always feel my channel has to be about. And I always have super cool or wacky or weird or funny ideas that I want to shoot, but I'm always like, it doesn't fit the Robuilt channel. And so it stops me from really pursuing the creativity that I have in here. And so you kind of fall into this creative bottleneck a lot of the times that you're scared that if you provide different content for the people that subscribe to your channel, they're going to be unhappy with you for providing content that's not related to the reason that they subscribe to you. I'm pretty sure that all made sense. All to say, I'm making a video about how to start a YouTube channel right now. It's not really about what my channel is, but you know, I think that someone out there will find it useful. If this gets 20,000 views and 5 of you start your channel, cool. Cool enough for me. That's great. Doesn't have to go viral. Doesn't have to be the craziest video of all time from a metric standpoint. I think for me, I get a lot of joy out of just inspiring and helping people take leaps of faith that they wouldn't ordinarily take. So if this does inspire you to start a channel, let me know in the comments down below. Tell me what channel's about, and I would love to check it out when you make your first video. We good? We good with that? That's it. You know, that's it. I mean, I could probably harp on struggles for a long time. I have them, but I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm optimistic. Sometimes I'm super stressed. Sometimes I'm super frazzled. I mean, I'm ADHD, so like my life right now with like kids and a channel and like, can you see this? Like all those post-it notes right there, those are all the projects I have going on right now. That's 14 different projects that are on the board that I'm actively working on to advance my career. So when you add it all together, it is pretty crazy, but honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. So yeah, as much as I could talk about struggles, I have such a good life and I'm really thankful for it. And I thank y'all. But at the same time, like, I shouldn't apologize for that. Sometimes I do have hard days. It happens every so often, but overall, from like if we put everything on a scale, the good stuff is like, it's like that, right? No, this is the good stuff. It's like down here, and the bad stuff is like, it's like pretty much empty over here. Okay, I'm happy. Let's move on. All right, this video is getting long, so I'm gonna just speed along here. Move along. Engagement tactics. I do want to talk about a couple things that you can do that would probably help you with the algorithm. Can't say for certain, but engagement tactics. I think it's a really important part of your YouTube strategy and your videos, like getting people to watch for a long time. That is something that is very important to the YouTube algorithm. They factor 2 things in more than anything: your click-through rate, your CTR, and your average view duration, your AVD. Now, typically you want to be over 50% because if YouTube sees that people are engaging with your content and watching most of your content all the way through, then they say, oh, hey, people like this random YouTube video that Robuilt made. They're staying on it for more than 50%. Oh, the CTR is really, really high. Oh, people are liking and commenting on it. Let's keep promoting it and make it go viral. You know, that's kind of how YouTube works. So you want to plug things at the beginning. You want to give like a little teaser at the beginning of every video if you can, to keep people lured in to the very end. So if you remember the plug at the beginning of this video, I said that we would be talking about money stuff towards the end of this video. That makes you think, oh, okay, cool, I'm gonna learn about YouTube and I get to learn into some of the money stuff and some of the finances behind the Robuilt channel. That keeps you viewing until the end. Now I do reveal that out of transparency so that you're like, oh, it does work. But all to say, the idea is you want people to stick around from beginning to end. okay? Minor manipulation. Sue me, okay? Not a crime. Looked into it, Googled it the other day. Not a crime. Manipulation, totally legal. It's in a gray zone, but it's legal. Market manipulation, like in the stock market, not legal. YouTube view duration manipulation, totally legal. Totally legal. It's totally fine. Ask questions in your video. If you notice in any of my tours, I'm always like, yeah, I wasn't sure why I did this. What do you think? Leave me a comment down below. And like, because I'm revealing this to you, please still leave me a comment in all my future videos. Like, don't be like, I know what he's doing here. Not gonna leave him a comment. But if you're watching this right now, anytime that I do make a comment plug in any of my other videos, you should be like, I'm only commenting on this because of that one YouTube video. I know your tricks, sir. I know you're trying to trick me into leaving a comment. Not gonna work. Oh, dang it. I left a comment. Ah! Get people engaged. Ask questions. Respond to as many comments as you can. I try to respond to comments with a question if I can, just so that I can get that commenter to come back and engage with me and have a conversation. Again, increasing the amount of time that people are on my channel. Prompt people to like your video early on. I know a lot of people hate that, but YouTube does like seeing engagement in the first couple of minutes of your video, so it is important. And I think that if your fans care about you and they want to support you, they appreciate the reminder. Someone just told me this like last week. Honestly, she's the only person that's told me that before, but I gotta imagine it's probably true. And lastly, if you have a hot take, say it, give it. Like if you have a really hot take, whatever, I mean, like, don't be racist or stupid, but if you have like a hot take about like, Star Wars is overrated, or like, well, there's my hot take. Like, you know, you get people mad and commenting and like, you know, to spark that debate in your comments. Like YouTube likes to see controversy. They like to see people engaging and battling and writing responses to each other and disliking and like all that type of stuff is good. So if you got a little hot take, throw it out there. One of my other hot takes, onions, hate them. I hate onions. I think they're the worst food on the planet. I freaking hate onions so bad. I wish I liked them. It's not like I chose to hate onions. I was born this way, and if I could like onions, my whole life would be 1,000 times easier because onions are in everything. Imagine being Mexican and not liking onions. Do you understand what kind of complexes that creates between me and my, like what kind of wedges that puts between me and my family? That was tough growing up, okay? I wish I liked onions, I hate them. So, with that, let's move on. Money, please. All right, we've arrived to the final act in today's episode of This American Life. The greatest Ira Glass impression, I think, ever. We've arrived to the final section, the final little section hither of the video. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you. You're a super fan. Let me know that you're a super fan down below. I genuinely, every time I say that, and there's like 100 of you that say that you're a super fan, I'm always like, oh, they care. All right, let's talk about money. Let's talk about things that are gonna really drive some of the financial success of your channel. Something that I wish someone had told me when I got started in YouTube was to create my email list, like just to start one. I didn't start my email list until probably like 6 months ago. I'm 18 months into YouTube, and it's something that I really wish I would have started like day one of YouTube. There's so many ways that you can monetize an email list. You can start a program, a course, something that you can teach people on. You can email newsletters with tips and tricks and like a book that you're reading, and that book can be an affiliate link. You can be an affiliate for someone else's course or program. So if you're a real estate channel and there's this other real estate channel that's selling a course on flipping houses, they might approach you about becoming an affiliate for their course. And so when you email your email list, if any of those people buy, you can make a commission anywhere from 25 to 40%. So for example, if that real estate flipping course was $1,000 and you were getting paid 40% of that, which is like an affiliate commission that I've seen, you could make $400 per sale. If you had an email list of 10,000 people and 50 of those people bought it, that would be, well, let's just, 50 times 400, yes, $20,000. You could make $20,000 being an affiliate for other people's courses, and that's all driven through your email. So build it up. You can build it up by releasing what's called a lead magnet, which is basically like a form, like a piece of valuable content that you can give to people in exchange for their email. That's what I do. I mean, anytime I make a super informational or educational video, I'll create a PDF handout that people can actually take with them. And like, if they're visual people or they're readers, then they love like a PDF that they can just read and take with them versus having to rewatch one of my convoluted, long drawn out 20 to 50 minute videos. But speaking of courses, I am sort of contemplating putting together like a very low cost YouTube course, something that would be obtainable for everybody. I don't know, I feel like I just gave away everything that I have to know about YouTube, but either way, if enough of you want that, then I'll do it. So I'll leave a link down below. I don't have a lead magnet, I just thought of this. But if you're interested in, like a course for me about YouTube, like a little 3 to 4 hour version of this, let me know and I'll make it. Because I like doing this kind of thing. I like talking talking to camera and showing people everything that's in here and like, you know, helping people in their journey. So sign up for my wait list that may never actually turn into anything, but if it does, you'll be the first to know. But if you are serious about YouTube, if you get to the point where you're like, okay, I'm having some success, I'm growing, I really like doing this, then you have to figure out a way to monetize your channel that's not just ad revenue. My buddy Andy from Your Friend Andy, he's a finance channel and he's really smart in the YouTube world and he gives me advice all the time, and he told me that if you make most of your money from ad revenue on YouTube, then you're doing it wrong. So I really took that to heart, and I really try to make money in so many different capacities, through affiliate links, through programs, through brand sponsorships, through, you know, any other way that I can monetize my channel outside of the ad revenue. I try to do that because, like I said, all the ad revenue that I make on the channel pretty much goes to my editor. Like, I make that investment because I know that it will pay out in much bigger dividends than the actual money that I make from ad revenue, because it frees up my time to focus on my other businesses. So because of that, it's really important to branch out and have other streams of income. So with that, let's talk about how much money I've made on YouTube in the past couple of months. I'm gonna keep this relatively short because we are absolutely over time, and Caleb's probably editing things over there and he's like, gonna have to ask you to cut that down in case yeah, cool with you. And that's actually exactly what he sounds like too. So if we just look at my lifetime, like, I have actually been monetized on YouTube for exactly 1 year, for about a year and 3 days at this point. So we can actually see over the lifetime of being monetized, over the past year, I have made $46,103 on YouTube. Pretty respectable. Like, I'm really happy with that. That's pretty cool. My goal is, like, hopefully 1 year from now, I can say that I make 6 figures on ad revenue, which I think I can do. But if we consider my other forms of income on YouTube, like, I make a lot more money than just that. I also make sponsorship deals. So far in sponsorships, and like, people don't ever talk about this and they always say that they can't legally and blah. It's not true. See, what they're really doing is they just don't want to reveal their ad rates because they don't want a brand to be like, wait a minute, a couple months ago you said your ad rate was blank. And so I'm not gonna tell you my ad rate because I understand why they do it, but I will say in the last year I've made $24,500 on brand deals. So $24,500 plus $46,000, $70,000. Like, that is what I've made in my first year on YouTube. But there are so many different ways you can monetize your channel, right? You got brand deals, you've got your ad revenue, but you can also really beef up your affiliate side of your business too. Like, as I said, I have all of my gear listed down below, right? Or anytime that I have a product that I showcase on my channel, I have affiliate links down there. And if you buy anything with those links, you get to support me with like a very tiny commission with that. So if you go into my Amazon affiliates here, you'll see that in 2021, I have made $856. And then last year in 2020, I made $595, or I guess $600. So I've made $1,456, not bad. So you add that on top of my $70,000 or whatever I said, we're looking at about $71,456. Pretty good. But it also gets crazier than that. I'm also an Airbnb ambassador, and I make a commission whenever I sign you up to host, and I get to give you direct feedback. So if you want to become a host, sign up with that. But I get a commission from Airbnb when I do that. And in the last like year, I've made about $29,498. Honestly, the majority of that has come in the last couple of months. I've probably made like $20,000 in the last month. So I'm really scaling that side up of my business. But if we just add that into the entire pie here, I have made about $100,000 on YouTube when you consider like all of my different affiliates and my brand deals and everything like that. So I have actually cracked 6 figures on it. I've kind of hit the goal that I set for myself. I want to make $100,000 in ad revenue, and then I want to make another $100,000 in brand deals and affiliate links. And those are just a couple of sides of how I monetize YouTube. If we really get into the other income streams that come from that, which is boosting up my Airbnb revenue, which comes from the education side of my business, like my programs or my consulting, then I'm way over that. I'm closer to like the $700,000 range. I don't know if you could hear that, and I'm fine with that. All to say, I've really focused this year on creating myself as a brand and selling my brain and selling my knowledge and providing value to you. And I'm so thankful that I get to make a living doing this. But if you're just starting out, 2 super easy ways that you can make money on YouTube is to review items and make money from Amazon affiliates, or you can start a Patreon and get awesome people like Jalen or John P or Greg H to, you know, support you every single month with Chipotle burritos. So thanks guys. I'm gonna do a happy hour for y'all. I appreciate y'all pledging to the Robuilt channel monthly. It's awesome. Let's have that. I'm gonna set that up. I'll reach out to y'all separately. Anyway, all that to say is if you're very serious about YouTube, there is a way to monetize your channel and there is a way to make those bills. All right, and that's gonna wrap up today's episode of Robuilt. Thank you so much for sticking around into the end. I know that this is probably the longest video that I've ever made by a factor of 2, but I just wanted to say thanks. I appreciate you. I appreciate that you stuck around. And if you found this content valuable and it inspired you to start your own channel, then I would consider asking you to hit the like button down below. Maybe hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you want more YouTube tip type of videos or real estate or tiny house or Airbnb content. But with that, I'll catch you on the next episode of Robuilt.